Greetings everyone, welcome to my another YouTube tutorial series for Discord bot. I'm your host Nishat aka DevStriker, and in today's video we will do something like this where we will type a command which will return our Spotify music details that we were playing. So let's dive into that. So right now we're going to download Spotify application to our local machine and then connect that to our Discord so that it picks up when we are playing. So let's go ahead and download. And the download should start. And I'll go ahead and pause. Once the download is finished, I will unpause. So my download has finished. I'll go ahead and open the installation file. And it should load. So I'll go ahead and pause, and there you have it. The Spotify application has installed successfully to our local machine. And what I'll go ahead, it's log into the account that I have, which is a dummy account. But you feel free to sign up if you don't have one, because we are going to connect through our Spotify using this account. So let's go ahead and do that. So once you have logged in, it will look something like this for you. And I have quickly had and created a new playlist here. So if you don't want to spend some time searching songs, you can do that too. Now we're gonna go back to our Discord, and what we'll do is go to our user settings, go to connections, and let's wait a little. Right, enable streamer mode. No, I don't want that. I want to go to the connection again. Sorry guys. And select Spotify from here. You can see you can connect all other stuff if you would like to. So I'll go ahead and select the Spotify, and it should open a web page for me to authenticate. And now you can go ahead and insert your credentials to verify that that's the person you are. So I'll go ahead and do that mine now. Once you have logged in, it will ask you that do you agree with the terms and services. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I believe that should do it for us. So it's connected to your Spotify account, so I know that that has been successful. Now let's go ahead to our Discord real quick, and you can see we have connected. So now we're going to test and see if the Spotify is picked up when we fire up some songs. I'm gonna go ahead and mute here because I don't want to get any strike. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's pull up some songs, and I'm gonna go ahead and play the song right here. Yes, it has started playing. So let's go back to our real quick here, and you can see that we are now listening to Spotify here, and that's the track and that sort of information. It's kind of gathered in the Discord here. So now we're going to look into the Discord Spotify class in the documentation before we can go ahead and write our code. So you will head to discord.py read docs. The link will be down below in the descriptions, and go ahead and type discord Spotify. Let's take a look what's the result returns in this case for us. And we can see there's a discord.spotify and it's a Python class in API references. Let's go ahead and look at it. And it's taking some time to load. I'll pause. And here you can see the Discord sections and their attributes and bits and bobs that we can use to receive those information of someone playing their music while they're using the Discord. And you can see such as albums and album cover URL, so that's the image I believe it will return, then artist information, then artists, I guess it's a plural, so a number of more items, color, created ad, durations, and end, name, and title, and whatnot. And you can see more descriptions there, what each of them will return and their data types. And yes, that's the section we're going to mainly focus throughout this. Although I'm going to show you the simplest version first, and then I will show you how to create exact snapshot of image that you see, which will retrieve through URL, in this case at the beginning. So let's go ahead and do those integration real quick. Now, before going ahead and do anything with the retrieving in member information in their presence and whatnot, you probably want to go to your application on the developer portal of Discord and go down to the bot section and scroll down all the way and make sure the present intent is turned on, and also the server member intents and turned on if you're following this tutorial, which I have declared both of them as in my gateway intents and enabled throughout my piece of program that I wrote for my bot. So I will show you that in a minute. And I have discussed this on my previous section of the video, where I have set up thoroughly and perused through the documentations and cover up some of the aspects that we need to look into. Now, if we go back to our PyCharm, there are two changes happened. Basically, and now you can see there's assets folder. Within assets folder, I have a little template, which we're going to later use that, and a font here. So you can both of the file, you can download them again. The link will be down below in the descriptions. They will be in my GitHub repository. You can clone the repository and follow the installation guide that will be available on the README sections. It will make your life much more easier if you don't want to follow along here. But if you do, then you can specifically download them and put them exactly where they are. So, and now what we're going to do is create a new commands file. So I'm going to right click in the command in Python file, and I'm going to call this Spotify and press enter. Perfect. And just a quick peruse through that what we have done. So you can see on the first section of the video, which is the previous video of this playlist, or if the series, where we have set up our initial bot. And here we can see we have declared our gateway intents to be true, set to true, and then rest of the bots and bobs. So where we just, as a modular, we plug in different commands into it and we load that as an extension to it. So they will be automatically loading every time we reboot our program. Right. This source code also will be available on my GitHub repository. The link will be down below in the descriptions again, just to let you know. So let's get started with the import. So import, we're gonna say Discord, and then import the Discord extension itself, ext, Sorry, my bad. From discord.ext import commands. That's right. So for the time being, this should do, and we're going to create a class called Spotify, and within there will be commands.cog. That's right. And then initialize our method, and that should take bot and self.bot equals to body itself. Right, and our to add this class overall to our extensions, we're going to define setup, and define setup, which takes bot itself, and we're simply going to say bot.add underscore cog and call our class here. And within the class, it's going to be bot. Perfect. And now let's go ahead and format. I believe here it is the asking for us to format. Yep. Perfect. So right here, we're going to write our first command, and let's pull out the decorator. Commands.command. Yes. And let's define our async function. So async define, and I'm going to name this track, this command. And it's going to take a couple of parameters, which is first is context, and then the user object itself with the Discord members, basically assigning the Discord member object to a user. Basically, that's all. Discord dot member, that is right, and I'm going to set that to none for now. Perfecto. Let's call the user object and assign user, or basically the author of the context. So whoever types in the command, he or she can also see what they're playing in this case. So cdx dot author. Right, and let's go ahead and get our objects of Spotify, which is, if I go to the, so it's a discord.spotify, and we probably have to iterate through in order to get each one of them. So I'll write a simple list comprehension. If you're not familiar with list comprehension, then you can write a simple for loop. We'll do that. But let's go ahead and do the list comprehension. Spotify underscore result is equal to, so I'm going to say activity, because we want to get the activity for activity in user dot activity. So yeah, that's not right. So let's take a look what is available. Oh yeah, the activities, that's the one we want. And we're going to say if in its instance, so is instance of that class, so activity, right, and then comma, and then we're going to call the class itself, which is discord.spotify. Spotify. Yes, that should be available. And yes, and I'm gonna do the comma and set that to none. Right, let's have a look. There are some issues. Right, not a problem. What we're going to do is call our next function here. Go at the end, set that there, and it should be happy. Okay, so now we have iterated through our class and getting all the activities that we want to and assigning that to a new variable. That's a quick way to write a for loop in one liner. If you're a JavaScript person, you know what I'm talking about. So now we're gonna handle one more the base case in this scenario, that what if this person is not connected to Spotify and they probably would be doing some other more activity. Then we have to let the user know that, or somebody who's trying to check in this case, that this person has not been connected to the Spotify. So let's go ahead and handle that use case in this scenario. Spotify result is none. Then we're gonna say await ctx.send context, send the context, and I'm gonna take the f-string literals here, and I'm gonna say user object. Then the name of the user is not listening to Spotify. Perfect. So that should let the other user know, and we have handled this use case here. And now what we can do is I'm going to show you the simplest version of sending, the most easy way to do this, before diving into doing let's say the image snapshot of that and creating that image using the Python Pillow library, which is a great tool again to learn image manipulation. It's a good practice and good. And the good thing about that any image manipulation library is that you use a lot of mathematical concepts, which is X and Y's and whatnot, and it gives you kind of a practice, and I think it's the best way to learn something here, and explore abroad. So I'm gonna say await ctx.send, and I'm gonna take f-string literals here. And I'm going to type in a URL which simply sends an embed. So this is available in the Spotify API. If you go look into that, there's an easy way you can do that. So I'll type that in. So which is https://open.spotify.com/track, and then the track ID. So if you pass in the track ID, it kind of sends you nice little embeds, so which can be interacted through Discord, which is a nice little thing, and it's an easy way to do your Spotify command, I believe. So let's go ahead and call our Spotify result, and let's take a look. How can we retrieve the ID? So we can see there's something called track ID, and if I click on that, it will take me to track ID. So identify the song. Okay, so let's go back to the PyCharm and type in the track ID. Perfect. So let's see, do I have to format? Yes, cool. So let's go ahead and hit save here. And to me, it looks good. So what I'll do, I will start playing music right over here. So I'll go and hit play. I'll just make sure it's mute for my case, but you can actually listen to your music while you're doing this. So I'll go ahead and hit play here. And I'll quickly run the piece of program. So make sure you're running the main.py if you're using mine, or if you're using your own, then wherever you're calling the function from, make sure that is running. So let's go ahead and hit play here too. And my bot should come online. Yes, the bot is online, and I can see that I'm playing music right here. So let's go ahead and do track command. right? And there you go. You can see it has interacted, and you can play the music right here and sends nice little embeds right over here. That you can interact your user from the user perspective, and this is fine. This is absolutely fine. You can leave this here, stop the video, and if you're happy, go ahead with this. But in my case, what I'm seeing is that there is this URL, and this embeds basically not telling me like basically how long, the length of the song and whatnot, if you understand what I mean. And I kind of wanted an image that can just take the snapshot of somebody playing, or maybe what you can do, you can add extra improvement to what I will do. I'll keep mine simple, but you can add a timeline that shows that where exactly this person is at the moment, where they're playing, so what minute and seconds they're in the song. So you can go ahead and do that too. So that's absolutely fine. I will go ahead and stop the music and start installing the Pillow library, which we're going to work on, and explore some of the other methods that are available for Discord.Spotify, and additionally install some other libraries that will help us to achieve what we want to, what we have aimed for in this case. And here we are on the Pillow documentation. I will leave the link down below again. You can go ahead and check that out. And there's a handbooks and tutorials available. And the most interested part that I'm looking into is that installation, because we want to go ahead and capture this library to our environment, and basic installations, and we're looking for Windows installations, so there are Mac, Linux. So I will go ahead and select this. If you want to go ahead and upgrade your pip, you can do so if you have any error, but I'll go ahead and do that. I believe I have the latest version. Go to my PyCharm and the terminal. I'll go ahead and stop my program real quick, and let's see, I'll paste this and go ahead and push enter. Should start. Python was not found. Microsoft disable short settings. Okay, right. So let's take a look why Python was not found in this case. So I went ahead and quickly ran to see if it's Python 3 or Python, and fortunately it's a Python. So I'll go ahead and paste that again, and I'll just erase the 3, but do check in your case, because you might have Python 2 and 3 and you don't want to conflict in between both. It's good note to take here. So I'll go ahead and do the install, and hopefully the installation will start, and you can see the installation has been started. Right, we have successfully installed Pillow. Great. Now, before we go ahead any further, we want to install 2 more libraries real quick, because we will be needing them. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to say pip install requests. Let's do that. And we're also going to deal with some date util libraries, and we have to parse this specifically minutes, conversion of minutes and hours and seconds. So I'm going to do that as simple as possible by using some library, but go ahead and you can build your logic up to do that conversion if you're happy to do that. So, but in my case, just to keep things simple, I'll go ahead and do pip install Python dash and then date util. Go ahead and press enter. Perfect. So it has installed all the required library to go forward. I will close this. And what I'll do, feel free to keep this, but in my case, I'm just going to remove that. I don't want that to be on my way. And what I'll do is start importing some of the stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and import requests, and then import our date util, which we will be using. Date util dot parser. That's the one. So when we're going to pass the date, and finally we're going to import the pillow, where the image manipulation will take place, and we're going to use some of those great functionality from the pillow. So from the PIL, import image, then image font, and finally we're going to draw some of the image on our image. So we're going to import something to help that with that task. So image and draw. Please have a look. This library is beautiful. I mean, I think it is one of the complete package of image manipulation. I really love it. I kind of find it funny. I think it's very approachable to do some of the stuff rather than using your Photoshop. You see what I mean there, while you code and you do some manipulation. And let's go ahead and import those images. Now again, just to let you know, I'm going to use the template that I have created. The template itself is in a transparent background because we're going to add some colors to later just to match the albums. You probably did see that there are some this is the album, and what happened is here that Spotify kind of get the pixels out of this image and narrows it down using some sort of algorithms to find the suitable color to kind of like give the feel of match. I will discuss furthermore how you can achieve that, but we will achieve in a way that is much more simplest way. We were going to take the average pixel out of all of them, which are built in a function within the pillow library, and use that. But the accuracy maybe differs a little bit, but if you want to get the full accuracy, you can use AK clustering. You can write some OpenCV and NumPy clusters, and you can actually do some comparison and narrow it down. So I'll show you a good example of that later, but I will not code, however, in this tutorial, just for the sake of simplicity. So that's the image, and there are a font that we're going to use to write or draw into our image itself. So this font I have quickly grabbed it from the internet, but I think this is not the best choice of font. You can go ahead and Google some of the fonts that you prefer and download, and still can use it as long as it's the format of TTF, something along the line, and you can check the documentation furthermore to see what are other more formats acceptable for the fonts. Anyway, so let's dive into this. First thing first, I'm going to take the images, so import all the images, and then next we're going to do all the fonts. So basically setting up all the font, and I'm just going to comment out, guys, so not to worry, I'll code. I'm not going to leave that down everything here. So I'm going to position them. So position like alignments and whatnot, x-axis, y-axis, and then draw all this stuff into my image. So the text, the image, and whatnot. And also we're gonna select, like I said, a background color based on the album image that is retrieved from the disco.spotify class itself, the API references. So we're going to do that as well as background color. And finally, we're going to resize our album's image because I think it's pretty large, and we need to resize that and then paste that over like an overlay on the image after everything has been like put together, the text, the colors, and etc. So we're going to mention here resize. So I'm just commenting out so that I'm going to follow along everything correctly. and finally save the image. So overall work, the final image of our work, and basically we're gonna await that and send it to our Discord. That's the logic basically. So I will go ahead and start implementing them. So I'm gonna take a new variable. I'm gonna call this, that's the track background, which is the template itself. Tag background image equals to, and we're going to call the image which we have imported, and we're going to say dot open, and we're going to open that file, right? So let's go ahead and do that. So it's within our assets, and then within the asset is the Spotify template, and then template. And now I'm thinking there might be some issue that we might run into it because I'm using Windows. Now if you're on Mac and Linux, you should be fine with the /, and I believe there is a / for Windows, but yeah, we will see which one accesses through the files system itself. But hopefully either of this case should work, but I'm not too sure yet, right? Just to let you know. So I will debug along the way. So now what we're going to do is also load our album image right here. So because it's an URL, so we have to use some library to retrieve that URL, which is going to be requested in this case. That's why we have installed that. So we're going to say album image is equal to image dot open, and within there I'm going to call the request library dot get, and over here I'm going to pass in the Spotify results dot, and I believe this is, if I go back to the references real quick, and if we go up, and we can see album cover URL. So that's the one we're gonna need in order to get the image. So we're gonna say album, and we can see already it's popping up, album cover URL, and we're gonna set that stream equals true, and we're gonna do the row image of that. And yeah, that should be fine. But before going ahead, what we're going to do is that convert this image to RGBA, because otherwise when we're going to work into it, we're going to run into some issues. So RGBA, and that should do for this section. So on the next sections, what we're going to do is set up our fonts for all of them. So again, the font will be this, but it's not a good choice, I know. You will see at the end the result. I wasn't very happy with it. If I redo this, I would definitely change that font. So I'm gonna say title font is equal to image font. So we're gonna call that image font right from here. Yes, without the underscore, sorry. And then we're gonna pass in the stuff, but before that I think we need to call another function, which is true type, and the type of the font is this name of the actual file, which is the bold font in this case. And we're gonna say an extension is TTF, right? And now we're going to pass in the size of our font. So the first font is going to be a 16, but you go ahead and adjust the one you need. Now, just to faster things up, I'm going to duplicate this 4 times because I'm going to need for 4 different elements that will be going in. So for them, I need to set the font. So I'm gonna hold the Control and then D for duplicate. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should do. And what I'm gonna do is change the variable name. So it's gonna be artist font, and the size is going to be 14. And the next one is going to be album font, and the size it's going to be 14 as well as. And finally, for our timeline of this song, we're gonna say start duration text. So basically start duration font, and then we're gonna have end duration font, right? And I'm gonna set their size to a little bit smaller, so 12, and here 12. Perfect, guys. So now let's go ahead and position this text, right? And again, I'm following the documentation, and if you find approaching that documentation, then I will leave one more link down below in the description. There's a nice little blog post which works through similar sort of stuff. How do you resize an image, position an image with the for sort of like a live example of an image itself showing. And I think it's more approachable for someone who's really beginner at this in this case. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the title first. Title text position. And it equals to, so the x-axis and y-axis. So basically for the x-axis, I'm gonna set that to 150, and y-axis it's going to be 30. This took me a little time to figure out, obviously, but I have them written down anyway, so I didn't want to figure things out while I'm doing this and stretch this tutorial too long. So I'm going to duplicate that again. 1, 2, 3, 4 more times, and I'm going to say here, this is going to be our artist. Then next one is going to be the album, and here it's going to be our start, and then I'm going to say duration, and then it's going to be here end duration, right? And I'm gonna now set their positions so you can go ahead and follow along. So I will leave this 150, and just gonna, because that they're gonna be stuck at below each other with a little space. So this one's gonna be 60, and next one's gonna be 80. So the 150 stays. I want the same position, the x-axis to the same position. And for the first duration of the starting, which is going to be 0, 0, also to stay at the same, to be aligned in this case, but I want that to be on the y-axis is 122. And finally, from the end duration, I'm going to change the x-axis to 515 and y-axis to 122. That's perfect. So when you kind of fast do it, it takes a little tweaking. But eventually you understand what's going on, and you straight away kind of track it, and you know what you exactly doing. So finally now we have all of the stuff, and we're going to draw them, right? We're going to add them to our image itself. So let's do that. So draw on image. And we're going to say image draw, the actual imports that we did right from here. We're going to use that. And we're going to say dot draw. And where do we exactly want to draw? Which is the background image itself, which is the image that we have created right here. So that one, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste it here. So track background image, that's the one. And now we will start doing them. So draw on image dot text. So we're going to draw those texts first, and we're going to call the title text. So we're going to call the position first, and the text itself, the color, and the font, basically. So these are the parameter that it takes, and you can read through that. It's showing you all of them, right? And it takes more also if you want to do something else. So artist text, sorry, it's title first. So title and text position, and I'm gonna say comma, and then Spotify result, which is our iterated item from discord.spotify itself, and we're gonna call the title, right, comma, and the color of the text, which is simply, I'm gonna set that to white for the time being, comma, and the font is equal to the font itself. So if you remember, we set up some fonts, so title font, go ahead and copy and paste it here. That's it. So now we're going to do this for each one of them. So we're going to again duplicate 4 of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's go ahead and do those. So I'm going to quickly copy these positions, paste them here just to make this a bit faster, right? And there you go. Now you can see title, artist, album, text position, start, duration, text positions, and end duration positions. So all our positions are here. And now we're going to change the exact item that we're looking into. So the result, title, and then after the title, we're going to have the artist. So I'm going to take a quick little f-string literals, and I'm going to add a text before that. So by who? So basically this song is by this person, or you know. So, and then here I'm going to say Spotify result dot artist itself, right? And I can see there are some errors because I did not remove that. So I'll go ahead and remove that, and it should be fine. Right, only in this case I'm just using a string literal, so that should be fine. So next one is going to be album, right? And for the starting duration, which is going to be by default a value, but if you do any manipulation, then make sure to change that along. So I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to just set that to 0, 0, right? And for the next one, which is going to be the date, right? So we're going to parse the date into minutes and seconds and hours, whatnot, and then see the result. And you can see here that for the duration, it is date time dot time delta, right? And if I open this, the class that they have used, you can see further more information for that documentation. And you can see all the conversions, you know, about minutes, hours, and whatnot. So I'll go ahead and close this. Go back to our PyCharm and let's call that. Right. So, and before calling that, because we are not going to be iterating through, so we have to take just a string object. So let's just call first the string literals. In here I'm going to use the double quotation in this case, although I've been consistently following my single code. This is a best practice again. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna call the objects and call the date util here dot parser dot parse, and within there we're going to take a string object. We're going to turn the whole Spotify result duration into string, like we said, Spotify result dot duration right? And then at the end we're going to string shift the time, so str FTIM, and here we're going to basically say what type of return we want from that. So I'm going to say modulus, we want the minutes, and then modulus, we want the seconds. Perfect. So that should do. I'm just going to push that down, and let's see. So we got date util dot. Okay, so there should be a here. Quick typo. Yeah, parser dot parse. And here also a typo. Apologies for that. And it should not complain anymore. And let's go ahead and push this one down one more time, and we all should be good here. So that goes for all of them. And yes, and now we're going to set all the fonts. You can see we have set all the fonts to title font, so we're going to get all the actual font that we actually looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste them here. Go ahead, copy paste there and there, just to save some time. So now we have utilized all of them, so it's all good. The only thing is left is to get the color of our background, the specific pixel that we have discussed, and then resize the album image and then paste it there. It's pretty simple, nothing complicated here. So let's go ahead and do that. So album color is equal to album image dot get pixel, and we're gonna define the axis and y-axis for the pixels where to grab it from. So as much as narrow it down, so 250 by 100. But you can change the positions if you think that you can get more accuracy. Go ahead and do that, I don't mind. And next let's do that background image color. I'm gonna say equal to image dot new, because we want that now whatever pixel we're taking, we just want to paste that. We want to add that as like some sort of gradient, but it doesn't look really gradient, it's just the color itself, but you know, you get the idea. And we're gonna say RGBA, and we're gonna pass in the size, the track background image dot size, and then album color object itself. And now we're gonna paste that. So background image color dot paste, and we're gonna say album and album image resize. So yeah, we're gonna say that album, let's go image, let's go resize, comma, and then let's open 0, 0 here, positions, and then let's go ahead and call the album image resize. Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't want that to be resized. Apologies for that. What I want is just to simply paste that, right? Do apologize for that. So which is going to be track background image, then the position, and then comma, and then track image position. Okay, that's perfect. Yes, do apologize for that. Just looking at the resize comment, and I was thinking that I'm doing that. So now what we're going to do, we're going to resize the album cover image and then paste it on top of that. Pretty simple. So I'm going to say album image resize. And yeah. Before going through, I just quickly noticed here is that the track background image and the location of our Spotify template, I haven't passed in the PNG format of that file. So let's go ahead and quickly do that. And we'll come back here and equals to album underscore image dot resize. And we're going to use tuples. We're going to say 140 by 160. Go down and we're going to say background image color dot paste. We're going to take the album image resize, and then set the size to 0, the position, and then album image resize here. Perfect. So that should paste. If there is an error, we will fix that bug. So on the image save, we're simply going to save the image background image color dot convert, and we're gonna say RGB dot save, and we're gonna save that as a JPEG format. So Spotify.jpg, whatever you feel like, go ahead and name this. And we're going to pass in the JPEG. So JPEG, JPEG here. And that should do. Okay, I see there is comma issues. Spotify, okay, that shouldn't be bracket, and that should stop here. Yeah, that should take the bug away. And finally, now we're gonna await and context.send. I'm gonna say file equals to discord.file. And we're gonna get that file, which is Spotify.jpg, JPEG. You can try other formats, but that seems to work quickly. And what is it? Okay, reformat here. Right, to me it looks all good, and I think we can test this out. We might get issue right over here. I'm a little bit doubt about the windows right here, but anyway, let's go test it. I'll go ahead and hit run and quickly make sure my Spotify is running. Oh, okay, the Spotify was running, but unfortunately I wasn't listening to any music. And our bot is logged in, which is good. And let's go to our Discord and finally check that we have that, and we have our tutorial bot. So let's go ahead and try this. So track. Okay, so image object get pixel. Okay, there's a typo here, so I will quickly go ahead and stop that. Right, where is that, Mr. Pixel? There you go, it's pixel. Go ahead and save, hit run again. Let's wait for the bot to come online. Back to our Discord. Let's do track again. Perfecto. So now we have who is it by, and the album, and right here. And I can see the text is not supported, maybe due to the language. You can look that into, as well as I can suggest some libraries. But let's go ahead and try, just to be sure that's the case. I will try another song, which is let's see this one, and let's go back here. I just wanted to confirm that it wasn't the program. No. So we can see Crossfield by Lisa. The album is Length Space, and the starting time and the ending time is 4 minutes 8 seconds. And let's see if that's the case. Yes, that is the case. Yeah, and that's it, guys. Thank you so much for staying this far. Again, if you are not sure and you're unsure about the overall thing, then do watch the first section of the video, which is the previous video in the playlist either, or the first video of this series, which is guiding through how to set up everything from the main.py to all the commands. And one last thing I'm quickly going to do here, because I think we must do some error handle before we go ahead, because I just don't want to leave it here. So I know if I do ping, I believe it pongs, right? So what if I do p here? It says p command is not found. So you can see this is something straight away is throwing, and we don't want that. We would disable, if we disable our error handles in the main section right over here, then nothing will be sent. But I want to send them something, but I want to specifically send because I don't, for security purposes, I do not also want to show them something that they're not supposed to see. So let's go ahead and quickly do one error handle. I will include a couple of more, and if in my GitHub repository, but in this case is instance, and we're gonna say error, and we know this is a command error, which is command not found. That's right. And the full documentation explains all the exceptions. So I'm gonna say commands dot command, and you can see all of them. So I'm looking for command not found, and we're gonna await dot await ctx dot send, and let's send a custom exception, which is invalid command. Right, and let's go ahead and save, and I'll comment this one out just to see that on action. Right, go ahead and save, hit play. Let's go here and let's do that again once our bot comes online, and you can see our custom exception has been handled. So again, guys, I really wanted to quickly cover that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next exciting tutorial of this series, and very much looking forward to it, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.